Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call to order the Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Secretary, if you could please call the roll.
Senator Buck?
Here.
Senator Hansen?
Here.
Senator Donyate? Senator Pazina?
Present.
Chair Wynn?
I am present. Please mark Senator Donyate absent excused, and we will go ahead and get started. We are going to take our the hearings a little bit out of order. So the first one that I am going to start with is AB 530. I will note that we are going 530. Yes, 530. We are going to start with AB 530, and I also will note for the record that we have a full room in here. I see people standing in the back. I will note that 2135 is an overflow room, and I see there is a packed room also in Las Vegas. I'd ask everyone to sign in if you can, just so we have a clear record. So if you are not able to testify, you can at least put your testimony, or you can put your either support or opposition or neutral testimony in that sign-in form if you feel comfortable with that. If you are in one of the overflow rooms here in Carson City, then when it is time to take testimony, I will ask you to come in here. We do have 3 bills on the agenda today, so I will go ahead and we will get started. And with that, I will call the RTC. I think that's who's presenting here today, this bill, and go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Great. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair Wynn and Vice Chair Vizina and members of the committee. For the record, my name is MJ Maynard Carey. I am the CEO of the Regional Transportation Commission. I'm also joined today by David Swallow. He is our Deputy CEO of the RTC. More specifically, he also oversees our capital program, roadway funding program at the RTC. And with me to my right is Kelsey Hardy. She's our legal counsel. So today, we are going to provide a brief overview of the ongoing roadway funding efforts and challenges in Southern Nevada, and introduce Assembly Bill 530, which aims to continue the fuel revenue indexing program to secure sustained investment for our transportation infrastructure. So currently, Southern Nevada, as you see here on the slide, is the roadway funding is derived from these 3 sources: motor vehicle fuel tax, a small portion sales tax, and fuel revenue indexing. For those of you who don't know or not familiar with FRI, it's a program that was initially authorized in 2013 that adjusts the region's fuel tax rates annually based on the inflation to help fund transportation infrastructure. All 3 of these revenue sources allow the RTC and its member agencies, which include the Nevada Department of Transportation, the Clark County Commission, the City of Las Vegas, City of Henderson, City of North Las Vegas, Boulder City, Mesquite, to move forward with the planning, design, and construction of roadway infrastructure projects that keep our community moving. So from these 3 funding sources, most revenue comes from fuel taxes. As you see here on the slide, this is the breakdown of the total fuel tax collected is 75 cents. The RTC currently receives 24.6 cents, of which 15.6 cents is generated from the FRI program. So despite the fluctuations of gas prices over the last 11 years, RTC's FRI program has increased the cost of gas by only 1.4 cents per gallon per year on average. The entire FRI program, which benefits the state, county, and the local jurisdictions, has increased the cost of gas by only approximately 2.1 cents per gallon per year on average. And so this small investment has helped generate more than $1 billion for critically needed roadway infrastructure projects among the member jurisdictions. So I want to provide some history on the program. So it was originally authorized in 2013 by bipartisan legislation signed by Governor Brian Sandoval and then approved by the Clark County Commissioners. FRI allowed fuel tax indexing from January 1, 2014 for the next 3 years. In November of 2016, Clark County voters approved question number 5, continuing FRI through December 31st, 2026. Clark County, however, is not the only county that indexes the fuel tax to inflation. Washoe County also has its own fuel tax indexing program they've had in place for quite a while. Clark County's FRI differs from Washoe County's fuel tax indexing program in that Clark County's FRI program is capped at a lesser of 7.8% or 4 cents per gallon annually and can only continue for an authorized period of time. While Washoe County's fuel tax indexing program lacks a specific county cap on annual increases and operates without a set expiration date. Since its inception, FRI has been critical in sustaining, you got that, Dave, roadway funding in Southern Nevada. This is an important slide. If you look at the blue bars, that represents the motor vehicle fuel tax that we were relying on over the last almost 11 years to build out infrastructure in Southern Nevada. The orange bars represent the revenues that have been generated by the fuel revenue indexing program. And if you see it to the right, it's generated more than $1 billion. Had we not indexed fuel tax to inflation, not only would the revenue remain flat, you can see in some cases it would have actually decreased. As a result of FRI, actually, I'm going to turn this over to Dave Swallow because he oversees this program. So Dave, if you want to talk a little bit about this.
Sure. David Swallow for the record. As you can see on the slide, since FRI was initiated in 2014, 702 projects have been started, with 501 of those completed to date. There are another 105 projects in construction and 96 that are in design. What's more noteworthy is how we've been able to leverage the funding, the local funds that FRI has provided to compete for and win grant money from the federal government, which enabled us to build I-11, the Laughlin Bridge, Maryland Parkway Bus Rapid Transit, Reimagine Boulder Highway, critical projects for our region. Beyond that, beyond those, it really has helped support 78 local businesses in addition to all the larger companies, and supported over 20,000 jobs. You can see in this next slide how the extent of projects that have been delivered to date thanks to the fuel revenue indexing program.
Thanks, Dave. So despite its success, FRI is set to expire at the end of 2026, as I previously mentioned. So this is an important slide as well. So the bars on the right are the expenditures in the program. This is our cash balance in the roadway program. Bars on the left are the revenues. But the most important piece is the shaded gray area in the back. That is all of the money that we know that we will have today and we'll have the ability to bond. And that's where you notice in 2027 the ability to potentially bond out there. Obviously, the trajectory of this gray shaded area is not where you want it to go. And so if you go to the next slide, Dave, currently the jurisdictions, the county and all the cities in Clark County are spending about $300 million per year on roadway infrastructure and maintenance. If the fuel revenue indexing program does not continue, we anticipate that the jurisdictions will have about $100 million going forward to share in terms of, again, maintaining the investments that we've made with the fuel revenue indexing program, as well as expanding roadways as we continue to grow our economy. We also asked the jurisdictions, so aside from the projects that have been identified with funding for FRI, they gave us a list of about 179 projects that today have no funding identified, worth over $2.7 billion. So while, the program has been very successful, there are still many projects in Southern Nevada that have no funding identified going forward. And more importantly, if you go to the next slide, Dave, as we continue to diversify our economy, and grow, the areas here, when we talk about future economic development, if you look on the map, to continue growing out Apex, that's what we started, but to continue to grow out Apex, invest in El Dorado Valley, Sloan, Ivanpah, or the supplemental airport, there's no funding identified for the infrastructure needed to, again, develop in those areas. Understand the significant roadway funding challenge that Southern Nevada is going to face without FRI. We really wanted to understand what the community feedback was. What was the support? And so we understand, again, that there's no one solution that's going to solve these problems. We convened various stakeholders in the community. The Transportation Resource Advisory Committee, TRAC, we've worked with TRAC for the last 10 years, over 30 stakeholders that consist of chambers of commerce, labor groups, businesses, and they passed a resolution in December 2024 endorsing an FRI continuation. Southern Nevada Forum, a coalition sponsored by the Vegas Chamber and made up of legislators, local officials, and business leaders, supported the continuing FFRI in this current session. And then Clark County, Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas, Mesquite, and Boulder City all adopted resolutions urging the Nevada Legislature to continue FRI. So, based on the importance of FRI, to fund the critical infrastructure projects that we have identified today and well into the future, we have worked, again, with Chairman Watts and others to introduce this bill to you today. So I'm going to hand it over now to our external counsel, Kelsey Hardy, and she's going to introduce the bill to you.
Good afternoon, Chair Wynn and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Kelsey Hardy, CELSSIEHARDY, and I'll conclude the presentation by giving a technical overview of Assembly Bill 530, including a section-by-section summary of the bill. Assembly Bill 530 is enabling legislation that authorizes the Clark County Board of Commissioners to extend fuel revenue indexing, FRI, for up to 10 years, upon approval by a 2/3 supermajority vote of the board. The bill also includes a sunset provision, meaning indexing can only continue past December 31st, 2036, if a question is placed on the ballot at the November 2036 general election and approved by a majority of voters. Assembly Bill 530 adds important guardrails, ensuring critical funding for roadway and infrastructure projects while also protecting long-term voter authority and public oversight of the FRI program. I'll now provide a brief section-by-section analysis of the bill to explain how these provisions are implemented within NRS 373.0663. Section 1 provides amendments to NRS 373.0663, which governs fuel revenue indexing in counties with a population of 700,000 or more, currently only Clark County, and outlines the procedures and authorization timelines for fuel revenue indexing. Subsection 5A extends the period during which automatic annual increases may occur without additional action by the Board of County Commissioners. The original end date of December 31st, 2016 is extended to December 31st, 2026. Subsection 5B authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to extend indexing for an additional 10-year period from January 1, 2027 through December 31st, 2036 by adopting an ordinance approved by a 2/3 majority no later than December 31st, 2026. Subsection 5C requires that any continuation of indexing beyond December 31st, 2036 be approved by a majority of voters at the general election in November 2036. If that question is not placed on the ballot or does not pass, indexing cannot continue. Section 2 states that the bill becomes effective upon passage and approval. Appreciate the opportunity to provide an overview of the bill, and we stand ready to answer questions from the committee.
Do you have any questions from the committee? Go ahead, Senator Buck.
Thank you, Chair Wynn. I was just wondering, I know this isn't in the bill this session, but what are plans for in the future for electric vehicles to pay their fair share of some of this infrastructure?
MJ Maynard Carey for the record. I know that there have been conversations, not only in this session, but in the previous session. There was a working group convened by a bill that asked NDOT to coordinate with others to discuss the impact of an EV bill, among other things, in terms of how do you address the potential fuel revenue shortage, the gas tax shortage. And I think that conversation continues. As far as I know, that Tracy Larkin-Thomason and her team continue to coordinate with their consultant looking at a potential EV fee.
Any further questions? Do you have any other questions?
I have one on the slides.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Your slide, I think, is like your second slide where you broke down the breakdown. How is it you guys pay taxes to the federal government on that? It was 18.7 cents or something like that? Keep going back.
That's 18.4 cents.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. Do you guys actually have a tax that paid by people's purchase of fuel, and then you take the 18.4 cents and you have to pay back the federal government or something? What's that about?
Go ahead, Dave.
David Swallow for the record. I think that tax is actually paid by the wholesale distributors of the fuel before, so we don't collect that and then give it to the feds. I think that's collected up.
I see, okay. No, I was just wondering, that's kind of unusual. We have a tax to pay off taxes, I guess, but very good. That's my only question. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I just wanted to take some time to say I appreciate you guys meeting with me. I know that majority of those red lines on the previous slide that you had were in Senate District 3. And so I know that it is a lot of projects, and I know probably for many of us, a lot of our constituents do call, talk about potholes and roadway projects and how long they're going to take, or when other projects are going to go. So I know that in the city of Las Vegas alone, I believe if this wasn't allowed to continue, it's around $50 million in projects just in the city of Las Vegas, and I think Ward 1 that would be potentially impacted. Are you able to, and I can't remember if I saw on the slides, to monetize how many like individual projects there are that are highlighted on those red? Like how many projects is that that are currently funded through the FRI?
David Swallow again for the record. This represents the 702 projects that have been initiated to date since FRI was started back in 2014.
Thank you. I have a question from Senator Pacina.
Thank you so much for the presentation, and I feel like it was just yesterday, we were all here last session discussing this as well. And just to confirm, the differences in the legislation from 2023 to today, I believe, and I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything, were that you need a 2/3 majority of the board authorizing the annual increase, and then also that this goes to an election in November of 2036. Were there any other changes? And thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Kelsey Hardy, for the record. That's correct. And then just the last provision was we added a sunset so that indexing can only continue past 2036 if it goes back to that ballot question.
Thanks, ma'am. Just a question triggered another one for me. If this fails, if we say no, what's the total net loss? It was 200 million a year, I think, on the slide, 200 million. So that would have to be compensated for. I mean, your projects still have to go forward. So where would the money come from in the absence of having in that RTC tax, basically? You have any ideas?
MJ Maynard for the record, MJ Maynard Carey for the record. So we're one of a few states that our roadway infrastructure is paid for solely by motor vehicle fuel tax. Other states, whether it's Arizona or Utah, for example, they pay a gas tax, but they also pay sales tax and other kinds of tax sources that support their roadway infrastructure. And so if this FRI does not continue, it would be up to our elected officials and the jurisdictions to figure out what other revenue source they would want to tap into to make up for the money that is not now being generated by FRI.
Okay, or it could come from existing NDOT funds that would then be moved south, right?
MJ Maynard Carey for the record. Actually, that answer, I can get back to you on that, but not sure.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Looking around the room to see if we have anyone from NDOT here today. They're probably hiding and putting their head down. If they're listening, maybe they could call in, but and answer maybe some of those questions. Thank you. I don't see. Oh, did you have any other further? I don't see any further questions, so we will begin testimony in support of AB 530. Before we do that, I'll have people start getting into the table, both in Las Vegas and here in Carson City. Again, I know we have quite a bit of testimony on this bill, and just for time efficiency, if you can be brief with it, that would be wonderful. And also, if we could just, we're going to do a little exercising this afternoon. If you are in the room or you are in Las Vegas and you are here in support of AB 530, if I can just get you to stand, I think that might help us get a sense. I see, it seems like the entire room is standing, so, and the people not standing are the people that presented the bill, so I'm assuming they're in support. So I would just note for the record, for those of you that are in Las Vegas and for those of you that are in Carson City, it appears that we have pretty full rooms of people that are testifying in support. If you don't feel comfortable coming up to testify in support, if you can just feel free to sign in and provide your written testimony in support or opposition or neutral online, those are always options as well. So I will start here in Carson City. Go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Tom Morley, representing Laborers Local 872, proudly representing the Orange Crush down south. Thank you, fellas. Good to see you. Laborers 169, Communication Workers of America, and Teamsters Local 631. We're in support. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Warren Hardy here today representing myself. I have had the honor of serving as the chair of the RTC track committee. What do we call it? Track Transportation Resource Advisory Committee for a couple of years, and I think I've been on the committee since the inception. And I can tell you this year when we did our work at track, I really had hoped that we could talk about some aspirational things. We've got a lot of work to do to make our roadways and our transportation systems in Southern Nevada first class. What the RTC does with the funds they have is really amazing and smoke and mirrors, and they do an absolutely amazing job. I'm going to try to be less alarmist or hyperbolic than I was in the assembly, but this is really an existential issue. Senator Hansen asked the good question. I don't know, Senator, where we will go. We're working without a safety net on this. This is the existential. This is the threshold issue that we have to have continue, or I can tell you I don't know where we will go in terms of funding for not only roadways, but for the essential services that people rely on in Southern Nevada to get back and forth from work. Again, I tried to not be as hyperbolic as I was in the assembly, but this is an existential issue for us. It is essential that we pass this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. For the record, Danny Thompson, representing Operating Engineers Local 12 and Local 3, and Laborers Local 872, IBW 1245 and 396. But I'm here today as the Vice Chairman of TRAC. I've served on the TRAC committee like Mr. Hardy since its inception. And I can tell you, he's not being hyperbolic. This would be an absolute disaster if this funding goes away. And it's already being whittled away, to Senator Buck's point, by the proliferation of fuel-efficient vehicles and electric vehicles now are so prolific that it really is impacting, that alone is impacting, but this would be a disaster. And if that were to happen, I dare say we'd be right back before this committee asking you to come up with a new tax, because this is an existing tax that that's in place, but it would be an unbelievable disaster. So thank you very much. Support.
Mr. Thompson, would you mind answering a question from Senator Hansen? Go ahead.
Danny, you've been watching this forever. The electric vehicle tax, at some point, we got to bite the bullet and do it, okay? But I've seen several different things. Since you've been on track, you've been involved in the legislature since '79. I'd like to talk to you, I don't know if you want to do it in front of everybody, your opinion on the best type of electric vehicle tax. We've talked about a bunch of stuff, but it will have a major impact.
Senator Hansen to keep
I'll
it
take
to
it off-
the bill at hand, and
Well, the thing
I
is,
am sure
I
they
agree.
would love to work with you on bringing a bill to raise a tax.
well, you
So,
union guys, we gotta get something on those
it's like
electric
you've
vehicles.
got two tax people down here at the end, so.
I'm a no taxer for the most part, but we gotta do something. So I want to pick your brain, Danny.
For the
Thanks.
record, Danny Thompson, I'll be happy to come by and talk to you soon.
Please.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Ann Barnett. I'm the CEO for the Nevada Contractors Association, representing the construction industry in Southern Nevada. We are in strong support of AB 530. Fuel revenue indexing has been critical to keeping Southern Nevada construction industry moving. It has supported, as you've seen, over 700 roadway projects, created over 20,000 jobs, and strengthened over 78 local small businesses. Allowing this funding to expire would be devastating, to say the least. Funding would drop from $300 million to just $100 million per year, substantially. That would lead to canceled projects, job losses, and most importantly, setbacks to public safety and mobility. This bill is simply about protecting long-term investment. And just as a point of clarification, there have been some comments that this bill removes the vote of the people, and it does not. In fact, it maintains the vote of the people by going to the county commission that requires a public hearing and other public engagement well beyond a ballot question. We respectfully urge your support of AB 530. Thank you.
Hello, Chair. My name is Sam Anastasados. That's spelled Anastasatos, and I'm here on behalf of RTC Washoe, and we're just here to express our support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Nicole Rourke, representing the city of Henderson. Henderson is one of the fastest growing cities in Nevada and continues investment in transportation infrastructure is essential to support our expanding population and economy. FRI funding allows us to improve roadways, reduce congestion, and enhance transportation options, ensuring residents and businesses can move efficiently throughout the city. Over the past 5 years, we've received nearly $171 million to construct 43 roadway projects that include safety improvements, arterial reconstructions, interchanges, bus turnouts, access roads, and more. Without FRI, critical infrastructure projects could face delays or be canceled, impacting economic development and quality of life for our residents. We strongly support the extension of FRI to maintain Henderson's growth and ensure a safe, modern transportation network for all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Wesley Harper. I am the Director of Government Affairs for the City of North Las Vegas. We echo the sentiments in the presentation by RTC and the sentiments expressed by the City of Henderson. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Alexis Motorex with the Nevada Chapter AGC. We are here today in strong support of AB 530. This bill isn't just about maintaining this funding for Southern Nevada RTC. NDOT will also lose their 20% of the revenue, amounting to roughly $30 million a year that they use for their projects in Clark County. NDOT is facing a structural deficit that will not be overcome until there's a wholesale change in the way we fund our roads and highways. Losing this revenue in Southern Nevada will have a detrimental impact on all of Nevada, as an already cash-strapped NDOT could potentially divert money from projects in northern and rural Nevada to have the resource necessary for projects in Clark County. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and Committee. For the record, my name is Wendy Colborn. I'm Chief of Staff for the Building and Construction Trades Council of Northern Nevada. We are the union of building trades unions in the north. We represent over 6,000 members in Northern Nevada, and we are also in strong support of this bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. For the record, Paul Morat with the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber is in support of AB 530. Chamber is one of the earliest supporters in the original petition in 2013 and has supported these efforts throughout the years. And we believe that RTC and NDOT have managed these funds well in the last 10 years. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Aaron Ibarra. I'm with the Southern Nevada Building Trade Unions. We represent more than 25,000 construction workers. This funding is essential to ensure that our folks are working, and more importantly, that our apprentices also get a chance to get on these projects as well. It's a huge percentage of hours for our apprentices and the opportunity to learn while they earn. So I urge you to please pass this bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ryan Leonards, Southwest Gas, Government Affairs Advisor. We're on support. Thank you.
Chair and members of the committee, my name is Tomas Hammond with Carrera, Nevada, here on behalf of LVGEA. On behalf of the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, we have and continue to support efforts outlined in AB 530. As our community continues to grow, so does it require that we enable new residents to obtain quality and diverse career opportunities created through economic development attraction. Investments in key corridors and interchanges attract and retain business. In fact, it is a must-have for employers relying on efficient operations, and everyone relies on efficient operations, and we strongly urge your support. Thank you.
Hi, Chair Wynn and members of the committee. My name is Ashley Kennedy, representing Clark County. Ditto to all the comments, and we are in support of the bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Andy McKay, Executive Director with the Nevada Franchise Auto Dealers Association. Simply put, we support the bill. It's a good jobs bill, but I think more importantly, it's a quality of life bill. Senators, if you ever want to talk about market share of EVs, I have a ton of data right here. And Senator Hansen, to your question, I'm speaking not to the bill, Madam Chair, I apologize. I put together a bunch of information, what other states do with respect to capturing that declining fuel revenue on plug-in electric, and hybrid vehicles. So I have it if you want it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Hi, Chair Wynn and members of the committee. My name is Alex Fuller with the City of Las Vegas. We are here in support of AB 530. Without this legislative action, we stand to lose more than $50 million every year starting in 2026. And I did submit a full letter of support on behalf of Councilman Knutson of Ward 1, who sits on the RTC board. So thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Wendy Newman, representing Southern Nevada chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, and we are here in support.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Ronnie Young. I represent the IBW Local 357 in Las Vegas and the 4,300 members that we have, and we are in strong support of this bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Alejandro Rodriguez, Nevada System of Higher Education, and she would also like to offer their support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Leonardo Benavides with UNLV, also here in support of AB 530. Thank you.
Chair and members of the committee, for the record, Jessica Ferrato here today on behalf of Granite Construction in support of the bill. Thank you.
Chair, members of the committee, for the record, I'm Paul Enos. I'm the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association. The trucking industry in Nevada pays about 40% of all the taxes and fees that go to build our roads, maintain our highways. And we are here today in support of Assembly Bill 530. We do think that fuel tax across all different sources of energy is the best, most efficient way to build and maintain our roads. So we are happy to support it today. We think this is a good way to go forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Eloy Hara. I'm the business manager of Labor's Local 169 in Reno, Nevada. And we're in support of Bill 530. Thank you.
Chairman Andy Donahue, Labor Employers Cooperation Education Trust, glad to join support of the bill for the reasons you have heard.
Wonderful, thank you. I think we will go down to Las Vegas now. Go ahead and begin when you are ready down there. Again, a reminder to please state your name and also spell it for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Shondell Newsom, founder of Some New Marketing, a local family small business. It's SHAUNDELLNEWSOME. I'm proud to say that I'm a former chairman of the Urban Chamber of Commerce and the NCA Diverse Contractors Council, which you've heard from, and a current trustee for the Vegas Chamber, who are all in support of this bill. And also, I want to state that the local small contractors grew with intentionality and forged new partnerships with larger general contractors, which led to the 20,000 people job growth that Mr. Swallow talked about. Personally, I feel thankful that projects funded by the FRI program has created safer walks and bicycling to schools like West Prep, Booker Elementary, Matt Kelly, and other schools near my office. Young people, seniors, parents, and teachers feel better when going to church, work, or the West Las Vegas Library in our business neighborhood. I support AB 530 because it's proven to be an economic driver for small businesses and a quality of life game changer for many communities and neighborhoods in Southern Nevada. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Dudley, SYNDIDUDLEY, and I'm here representing the American Council of Engineering Companies. American Council of Engineering Companies represents over 50 engineering companies who employ over 1,800 engineers and staff across the state. And on behalf of the Nevada engineering industry, we strongly support AB 530. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for allowing me to address you today.
Please excuse my voice. We were cheering on our home team yesterday, the Golden Knights. Go Knights. They came through with the win, so that's great. And that's what we're here to talk about today, is being local, keeping things local. As a member of the Labor's Local 872 in Southern Nevada, and as a resident of Clark County for over 20 years now, I sure would hate to drive on bumpy roads, cracked roads, destroyed roads by traffic moving. So AB 530 is essential in order to keep our infrastructures up to date and smooth, and bumpy roads are just horrible. So with the over 50 members that are sitting behind me and in the overflow room, I don't know if you can see that on your screens, but I am here representing the Laborers Local 872 with over 3,500 families. And AB 530 does put our membership to work. We rely on it. I myself came through the apprenticeship program where I was able to learn and earn, and I spent most of my career working on roads funded by this particular bill. And a couple people have already mentioned it. It is existing. We just want to continue it. We did have some really good conversations outside before this started, and it's not a new tax. We have instilled our confidence in our county commission members that we've elected. So we encourage you, for the sake of people learning construction industry, for us that currently work in the construction industry, and for those of us that are just residents who drive on the roads, to please pass AB 530. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Travis Anderson. I'm the Public Works Director for the City of Mesquite. That is TravisAnderson. And I am here in behalf of the City of Mesquite showing support of Assembly Bill 530. As part of my job, it is required of me to manage the roadway system within the City of Mesquite. Every year we are forced to prioritize the roadway system and look at alternatives so that we can manage our money better and better. As we see, the City of Mesquite is rapidly growing. We're seeing more roadways, more needs for maintenance, new traffic signals, striping, you name it, it's growing. We are, however, seeing that our expenses greatly outnumber our revenue. And we've been very blessed with being able to use this the existing FRI money. And it is, AB 530 offers a sustainable path forward that we're able to continue to maintain our roadways, and we're in full support of AB 530. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon. My name's Nancy Gentis, NancyGentis. I'm speaking in favor of AB 530. I'm a member of Sierra Club, the 2,200 members and supporters that are in favor of this bill. I've lived here since 1978, and all you have to do is go to the grocery store, go to work, and you can see the increased traffic on the roads and the wear and tear. And this FRI funds the maintenance of these roads, provides jobs, 20,000 jobs since 2014. And this bill helps maintain the infrastructure to encourage the economic development, to have safe roads, and to support jobs.
Madam Chair and committee members, my name is Sandra Wagner, here representing C&S Company. It's SAUNDRAWAGGONER. I am with a Nevada small business that employs over 40 union members, and the Fuel Revenue Index funded projects make up over 70% of our business. This is an opportunity for people purchasing fuel in Southern Nevada to contribute to the roads and highways that they use, whether they're visiting or local. The average annual increase of 2 cents for the FRI is invested directly into our community. This is to make better and safer roads, to support the small businesses like ours, and to provide for families in the community by sustaining these good paying jobs and projects that it funds. I'm here to urge you to pass AB 530.
Good afternoon, Chair Nguyen, Vice Chair Pazina, and committee members. Dawn Christensen with the Nevada Resort Association, DAWN-CHRISTENSEN. We're here in support. Thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, Chair Nguyen and committee members. For the record, my name is Ryan McInerney, spelled McInerney, and I'm here today on behalf of Nevada State University in support of AB 530. Funding from FRI is critical in supporting major road projects and studies that directly impact the transportation needs for Nevada State, both at our main campus in Henderson and for our future satellite campus in the city of North Las Vegas. Discontinuing FRI would jeopardize these critical infrastructure projects and the ability of our institution to meet the higher education and workforce development needs of Southern Nevada. We strongly encourage your support. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, you're good.
My name is Taisha Moore, TIESHAMOORE, owner of G3 Electrical, and I'm here in support of Assembly Bill 530. As a contractor and small business owner in Clark County, I've seen how fuel revenue indexing has funded critical road and infrastructure projects that keep our region moving. AB 530 ensured there's a path forward to continue those investments as our population and economy grow. If this bill doesn't pass, we risk losing momentum and eliminating a mechanism that has supported small businesses like mine, jobs, safety, and economic development across Southern Nevada. I respectfully urge your support for AB 530 to protect the future of infrastructure. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, distinguished committee members. For the record, my name is Luke Brand, LUKEBRAND. I'm here representing the Operating Engineers Local 12. I'm here today to ask all parties involved to support AB 530. Your constituents and our family members deserve safe, modern, reliable transportation. Again, please consider passing this crucial assembly bill. Thank you.
I don't see anyone else at the table in Las Vegas. If we can go to the phone lines to see if there's anyone to testify in support of Assembly Bill 530, that would be wonderful.
To testify in support on AB 530, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in support at this time.
Thank you. If we could go to, actually, I'll stay on the phone lines. Is there anyone to testify in opposition to Senate Bill, Assembly Bill 530?
If you'd like to testify in opposition, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the committee. Kimberly Fergus, FERGUS. You know what? I'm confused. To me, I think I lost my mind reading this bill. When I read this bill, AB 530 proposes to remove the voter-approved sunset clause and let the Clark County Commission extend and continue annual fuel tax increases without asking the public. Am I losing my mind? Even though these taxes are how Nevada funds its road system, the question becomes, if Nevada roads are already being funded through these taxes, why bypass the voters? Where has all the money gone? And why isn't it enough? Why not renew the program with voter input as promised instead of overriding the public? And another question I had is, when this was passed in 2013 and 15, we didn't have the marijuana legalized back then. There's a lot of funds coming from marijuana, so why rely on our high gas taxes just to fund our roads? Colorado funds their roads by the marijuana revenue. So I urge you to vote no on AB 530, and thank you. Have a good day.
Hello, my name is Michael Ryan, Michael-Ryan. I'm a longtime resident of Nevada and a Marine Corps veteran. Please vote no on AB 530. This bill takes away the right of the people to vote by extending it out 10 years to 2036 on whether to continually raise the gas taxes in Clark County. Please do not take the right away from the voters. If you truly believe in democracy, you must allow the people of Nevada to vote on this issue through a ballot initiative. Please be reminded that Governor Lombardo vetoed an almost identical bill last session. Please vote no on AB 530. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel Puena, Rachel Puena, Puaina. I'm a teacher, just regular working class teacher with my daughters and my son and my husband are all union iron workers. We're just a working class family. Please vote against AB 530. The cost of living is going up and we can't afford more taxes. You're overstepping your bounds by not allowing the public to vote on this. So you should have our input. And so this is our input right now. Please vote against AB 530. There are so many of us families that are against this. So please vote no on AB 530. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lynn Chapman, Lynnchapman, and I'm the state treasurer for the Independent American Party. Everyone uses the roads, walkers, bicyclists, delivery trucks, buses, and then, of course, the usual cars, trucks, and motorcycles. And I think it's interesting that you're going to give the people a chance to voice their opinion, but it's going to be after 20 years, 2016 to 2036. Gee, that's real democratic. Oh, of course, the county commission has to have a 2/3 vote to raise the taxes, but when have you ever known government to say no to higher taxes? And this is one of the reasons why people don't trust our government anymore. Who does the higher taxes impact the most? Why, the poor. And what happens when they can't afford gas money? As the costs go higher, and it hurts families and people on fixed incomes. Myself, I'm a senior, a young senior, and I try to drive less and less because I've got to scrape together money. But I do find a way to scrape together the gas money to come down to the legislature because I need to be there to annoy all of you all the time. So just think about the families and the people on fixed incomes, and please vote no on AB 530. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Katrin Ivanov, Ivano Frank. Once again, I'm calling to express my disappointment with the legislature trying to take the voice of the people away from them again and again. I don't know why do you need to vote on this when it's time for the people to vote on this? Why are you trying to take our voice again? I hope that you would vote no on this, and we will allow us to express our opinion, the majority of us, the way it should go on the ballot. Please vote no on this. I also urge the governor to veto it if you guys pass it, and I urge every voter to make note of who is trying to raise the taxes. The government has a lot of work. Do an audit and get the money from places where you don't need to spend money on, and you overspending instead of taxing us more and more and more. You should be able to do the job with the money you got, not constantly increasing taxes. If I don't get money, then I only spend what I make. I don't just get extra from the sky. And that's for every single voter. So please vote no on this. This is burden on the voters, and let the voters decide when it's time to vote on that. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Chair, there are no more callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. Next, we will go to testimony in person in opposition to AB 530, and we will start with the people at the table in Las Vegas. Go ahead and begin when you're ready. And again, I would remind you to please state your name and spell it for the record.
Thank you so much, Chair Nguyen, members of the Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. My name is Anahit Baghshetyan. For the record, that is ANAHIT BAGSHETSYN, and I'm a research assistant at Nevada Policy. Today, Nevada Policy comes in strong opposition of AB 530. While maintaining roads and improving infrastructure undoubtedly is a major goal for the Silver State, it should not be done at the stake of the voters and at the stake of election integrity. Under current law, any additional annual increases in motor vehicle fuel taxes beyond 2026 require an approval of majority of Clark County voters in the November 2026 general election, as we heard today. AB 530 would remove this requirement and instead will allow Clark County Commission to vote into the tax increase for another decade simply by 2/3 majority of the Clark County Commission. This change would strip the voters of their essential right of participating in elections, and I know that in the support testimony earlier we heard that this would provide more avenues of public engagements, but public engagement does not mean public choice, nor does it mean public support. Secondly, beyond the issue of voter oversight, this bill is fundamentally a tax increase. At a time where Nevadans are already struggling with various taxes, and fuel tax is a tax that's imposed on the majority of the community because most of the Nevadans are commuters. This is going to come as a burden to all of the voters and all of the residents in the Clark County. And lastly, while infrastructure for the funding is essential, the solution should not come at the expense of taxpayer rights and decreased trust in the legislature. Removing the voters' ability to weigh in on continued tax increases would erode the public trust in the elected officials, legislative process, and just set a dangerous precedent for bypassing direct democratic voice. So for those reasons today, we urge you to oppose this legislation. Thank you so much.
Wiz Razar, Deputy State Director with Americans for Prosperity. That's spelled WIZROUZARD, and we are in strong opposition to AB 530. But Chair Nguyen, I do want to start by thanking all of the folks who came in testified in support. A lot of small businesses, individuals who help ensure that Nevada roads are in stellar condition to ensure we're able to commute from point A to point B every day. The caller kind of mentioned it earlier. The presentation, much like last committee, kind of creates a false output in terms of what this bill is about. This bill isn't about the operations. This bill is about representation and where that representation lies when it comes down to determining taxes. And at the heart of our opposition is a provision in Section 1, subsection 5, that seeks to allow the Board of County Commissioners to continue imposing annual fuel tax increases without voter approval. This is important. Currently in Clark County, that representation does not reflect a lot of parties, smaller parties, libertarian parties, American Independent Party, and so on and so forth. So those voices won't be heard, yet alone represented when these taxes are resolved or passed through ordinance to be increased. And so currently the process ensures that those voices, however small they are represented when it's required to go by the vote of the people. And so for these reasons, we urge you to vote no to ensure that the representation and the vote of the people are housed in their hands and not the elected officials that oftentimes does not reflect even the smallest voice. And so we appreciate the bill sponsor bringing this forward, along with the folks who are here to support the small businesses that do an amazing job in ensuring that our road works are done correctly. But this isn't about the operation. This is about the representation. And so we urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Devin Livesey, DEVIN LIVZIEY. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Clark County Republican Party. I'm here in opposition to this bill. Not only does this bill remove the voters from the decision-making on this bill at large, it also affects the cost of everything that we purchase or do in Clark County. Do not be fooled. Fuel tax affects the bottom line of every company that has to drive. It affects the efforts of every person who has to drive to a doctor's appointment regardless of their age. Giving birth and bringing your child home cost more if you have to pay extra in fuel cost. It affects every aspect of life in Clark County and Nevada. These extra fuel costs affect the bottom line of every business that operates in the state of Nevada and the country. Those fuel costs and those bottom line effects are directly passed on to the consumer. So by paying a few extra cents, whatever it happens to be in a fuel tax, it costs me more to buy a head of lettuce or to drive down to this facility today to talk to the fine senators up there that we're talking to. It costs everybody in this room more money to go home after they finish testifying, which I would also like to say that this was a great turnout, and it's very nice to see this many people come out, and whether it's opposition or support of it, it's great to see the people of Las Vegas involved in this. But because of the cost that this has, and it is a trickle down and very much a ripple effect that affects all aspects of society and the cost of society in Clark County and Nevada at whole, we strongly oppose this bill and hope that you vote this way and allow the citizens of Clark County and Nevada to decide if they want to continue to pay this tax. Thank you.
Is there anyone to testify in opposition here in Las Vegas? If you are not in Las Vegas, in Carson City, please come to the table and begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair Wynn and committee. I am Jim DeGraffenreid, JIM-DEGRAFFENREID. I'm Nevada's Republican National Committee man here today in behalf of the Nevada Republican Party in opposition to AB 530. We understand that taxes are necessary for infrastructure, and we're certainly sympathetic to Senator Hansen's point that we need to find a way to have electric vehicles pay their fair share, but Clark County taxpayers were promised the right to vote on these taxes. There should be no mistake that AB 530 is a tax increase on the people of Clark County without the ability to weigh in as they were promised. In their 2021 decision on legislature of the state of Nevada et al. Versus James Settlemeyer and all of the 2019 Republican senators, the Nevada Supreme Court affirmed that the extension of sunsetting taxes is a tax increase requiring a 2/3 vote. At that time, the Republican senators, led by Senator Settlemeyer, led an expensive and extensive effort to protect Nevada taxpayers and voters, and it's important that we respect that effort. To those who would hide behind this being enabling legislation only, I think everyone can agree that if cleared to raise these taxes, it's 100% certain that the Clark County Board will do so. This is a guaranteed tax increase. More important than the increase, however, it is unconscionable for this legislature to openly deprive voters of their rights under the law, as the bill does in subsection 5. The very fact that subsection 5 exists tells us that there will be a bill just like this one prior to the 2036 election, to again allow the legislature to play loosey to the voters Charlie Brown and pull that football away yet again. Despite the fact that a majority of Assembly members fell prey to the arguments of the bill's supporters, you have the opportunity here in the Senate to right that wrong and protect Nevada voters and taxpayers by rejecting this inappropriate taking of their rights, and we hope that you will do so. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Janine Hansen. I'm the state president of Nevada Families for Freedom. I watched the presentation in 2023 and in the Assembly on this bill. I think it's quite impressive, and I think that if they were able to share that information with the voters, that most likely they would be willing to vote for it. But I think they're afraid of the will of the voters. And I think that's very unfortunate, that they would deny what they promised to allow the voters to have an opportunity to vote. And it's really kind of a joke to say that they can vote in 10 years from now. That's an insult to voters. When Governor Lombardo vetoed this last session, he said a decision on this issue, which impacts household budgets every day, is most appropriately rendered by the voters. And why is that? Because every single one of them is greatly impacted. The Institute of Policy Innovation in the United States said the total tax burden is 56% of annual personal consumption spending. That's for federal, state, local taxes, including hidden taxes. It's no wonder people can't afford food. or a gas tax increase because of the overriding burden of the federal government. In fact, in Clark County, some 15% of people are food insecure. 1 in 7 and 1 in 5 children are food insecure. Is it any reason why they might be fearful of extending a tax without allowing what they promised before? And that is a vote of the people. I think this is a significant issue that bears upon the real intent. Are we going to ignore the will of the people? Are we going to supersede them? The reason they're taking it to the county commission is because they're assured it's going to pass. But they should be willing to bring this to the people and to allow the people to make the decision as they promised. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Now we will go to neutral testimony. Is there anyone in the room to testify in neutral? And if you are here for neutral testimony in Las Vegas, go to the table because it looks like we'll be ready pretty shortly. Go ahead and begin when you're ready here in Carson City.
Thank you, Madam Chair and member of the committee. I am Miranda Hoover with 3C House, representing the Energy and Convenience Association of Nevada. And we are neutral on AB 530 and would simply like to provide the following information for the committee's benefit. As of April 1st, 2025, the Clark County gasoline tax per gallon is at 0.758. This rate includes a 0.184 per gallon for federal tax, 0.23 for state, 0.10 for county, and 0.23 for indexing. Other includes petroleum cleanup, specs, and federal oil spill liability at 0.014, for a total of 0.758. The index rate is adjusted on July 1st of each year. For the last few years, the rate has increased by approximately 2 cents. The rate may be higher or lower based on inflation of the Producer Price Index, or PPI. Currently, Clark County has 6 fuel tax indexing bonds outstanding, totaling $801 million. Each of these bonds has a 20-year term, meaning the newest bond, which was issued in 2024, is set to expire in 2044. There are 9 Nevada gas stations adjacent to the Arizona border, 3 each in Laughlin, Boulder City, and Mesquite. Each of these stations have gas prices that are at least 31 cents per gallon higher than stations in Arizona. This price inequity is creating an economic hardship for local businesses in Nevada. And I'd like to offer that if this bill passes, indexing will continue for the next 10 years, and the index tax rate will continue to increase. However, should the bill fail, the index tax will continue but will not increase. Thank you, and I hope this information is helpful to you as you consider AB 530.
Thank you.
CYRUS HOJJATY. I'm the local chapter leader of Strong Towns Las Vegas, an urban planning organization. I was originally in opposition, but I spoke to some supporters and they changed my mind, and now I'm neutral on this because I realize there's some good things about this bill. And I applaud all the efforts to make our communities, our infrastructure very, very efficient. I do have some indirect concerns. First thing is that we have concerns about the fact that this will perpetuate urban planning policies that are very inefficient, such as building arterial roads, as you can see here, that are very inefficient and costly. We also believe that if our society focuses more on transit, then the need for such thing would come down a lot. As electric cars are becoming more popular, we should focus more on a per mile system where it's an addition to the car registration. But I would also like to see that if this situation is extended, that we find other ways to lower gas prices. Because Nevada right now pays number 4 for fuel costs. And I hope I'm on topic. I apologize if I'm not. But the reason for that, because according to many news sources and the governor, is that Nevada mainly gets its gasoline supply from California. And when there's refinery outages and standards, it affects the gas prices of Reno, Las Vegas area, and even Phoenix. Because I was in Tucson, it was significantly cheaper than not only here, but the Phoenix area. So we hope that these issues are addressed, and we can work with some deal to make sure that all parties will benefit. But thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to engage, share information, and make things better.
Thank you. I don't see any
You're
other testimony in Las Vegas or here in Carson City. If we can go to the phone lines for testimony in neutral.
If you'd like to testify in neutral, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
Thank you. I'll call the bill presenters up to the table if they have any closing remarks.
MJ Maynard Carey for the record. Just wanted to thank you. Thank you, Chair Wynn, for your time, and for the rest of the committee's time, for allowing us to present this very important piece of legislation to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I will close the hearing on AB 530. And at this time, I will open the bill hearing on AB 361. And I will call our bill sponsor up to the table to testify or to present. We have Assembly Member Linda Hunt here in the room. Welcome to the Senate. I believe this is Assembly Member Hunt's first bill presentation in the Senate, so let's make her feel welcome here today. Sorry, probably should have put us in a brief recess, but it looks like we are all up and ready. Go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair Wynn, members of the committee. I am Linda Hunt, and I have the honor of representing Assembly District 17 in North Las Vegas. And I'm proud to be here this afternoon to present Assembly Bill 361 with my co-presenter, Ross Kinsum, Teamster Local 533. Okay, this bill protects Nevada's public transit operators and strengthens Nevada's transportation system. By implementing enhanced safety measures, AB 361 creates a safer environment for both passengers and the transit workers who keep our communities moving. After extensive discussion with stakeholders from the RTC North, RTC South, Culinary Union, ACLU, AFL-CIO, and the Public Defender's Office, we reached a consensus that prioritizes the safety of our transit workers. All stakeholders have agreed that AB 361 best serves our shared goals of enhancing safety without adding unnecessary penalty. Okay, before I turn it over to Ross Kinson for the bill walkthrough, I would like to provide a brief background. According to recent estimates from the Urban Institute, which uses data from National Transit Database, major assaults on transit workers nearly tripled in 2008 to 2022. Major assaults in this instance are defined as assaults that result in fatalities or injuries requiring medical transport. Not only has the total number of assaults on transit worker increased, but the data indicates that assaults are also happening in more places, becoming more frequent nationwide. We have seen violence against transit workers here in our state, with news stories coming out of Las Vegas and the Reno-Sparks area in which transit workers have been spit on, had things thrown at them, been punched and kicked, and have been the target of stabbing. So Chair Nguyen, at this moment, I would like to turn it over to my co-presenter, Ross Kinson, to do a walkthrough of the bill. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ross Kinson, for the record. Thank you, Chair and Committee, for allowing us to be here today to present Assembly Bill 361. So ultimately, we believe that this is an essential piece of legislation. It's aimed at improving safety and security of Nevada's public transit system. Public transportation is a vital service, connecting workers to jobs, students to schools, and families to essential services. Yet the men and women who operate these systems, the men and women who I have the fortune of representing, face increasingly unacceptable risks, including physical assaults and harassments. AB 361 takes a focused and necessary approach to mitigating these threats by requiring regional transportation commissions in our largest counties to install protective infrastructure such as barriers, panic buttons, and messaging on all buses. This bill sends a clear message. We value the safety of our transit operators and the passengers they serve. All right, so before I get into the details of the bill, I'd like to share a brief video. I would just let you all know that the video is violent in nature, so please be warned. However, I urge you not to turn away. Ultimately, I think that it's important that you see what our drivers face on a day in and day out basis and why we're bringing this legislation forward.
Bus is moving.
Okay, so I apologize. I know that is difficult to watch. The attack that you just witnessed happened on February 3rd. So this is just a couple months ago. Right here in Northern Nevada, in Reno, Thomas Parsons is a 78-year-old transit operator and a 533 member. He suffered 6 broken ribs and a broken jaw and lost significant time from work due to this assault. And while we are grateful that Thomas is in good spirits, his road to recovery will be long. And unfortunately and sadly, this is not an isolated incident. A recent article from This Is Reno, which was provided and is on Nellis by Bob Conrad, highlights similar incidents. It reports on the suspect, Ryan Mostoletto, who had prior convictions, including grand larceny and battery. This underscores the escalating violence against transit operators. And this issue obviously is not unique to Nevada. Nationwide, transit workers are being punched, robbed, and in some cases even killed. So, I don't believe that public transit should be a dangerous profession. I just don't. Many of these workers are older adults, single moms, grandmas, grandpas, and they do this job because it offers them flexibility and a livable wage. Leaving them unprotected, in my opinion, is no longer an option. So ultimately, that's why we're so proud to bring this legislation forward, and very grateful to the work of all of the stakeholders in finding a conceptual amendment that works for everyone and protects our transit operators. So with that, I will just briefly walk through the bill for you. Ultimately, you can see here in a county whose population is over 100,000 or more, so that's Clark and Washoe, there shall be maintenance and appropriate infrastructure and technology designed to mitigate safety risks. Again, these are barriers, these are panic buttons, and ultimately signage informing passengers on what would happen if they were to assault our public transit operators. And just a few quick points. It talks about what assault is. It's pursuant to NRS 200, and battery of a transit operator pursuant to NRS 481. Ultimately, please keep in mind that this is only for our larger buses, so only for mass transportation vehicles that with drivers who hold a commercial driver's license. So this isn't for our little buses, this isn't for our day vans, anything like that. This is targeting where we believe the issue is, which is on our larger buses. So with that, again, fairly simple, fairly easy, but that concludes my portion of the presentation, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that presentation. Do you have any other parts, or are you ready for questions?
Thank you, Chair Nguyen. With that, we stand for questions. Thank you, committee.
Do we have any questions? Go ahead, Senator Hansen.
More of kind of an observation, okay? Teamsters 533, Brotherhood. When I watched that, I was thinking, all those union guys in the orange suits, I'd love to have them get an opportunity to grab that guy, beat the hell out of your Teamster brother, and I bet you that would almost do as much good as this bill. I hate to say it, but I hope somebody did make some justice for that guy, because throwing that rotten guy in jail is almost too nice. And for your brothers, I would think, I'd love to see that guy get, I can't say it because I'm a senator, but and you know where I'm going, man. I'll tell you what, I would love to see that guy just get the hell beat out of him like he so thoroughly deserves. And all those guys in the orange shirts, go get that guy, you know. Anyway, the bill seems really reasonable, and obviously that very graphic and emotional thing adds an appeal. But even if you didn't have to see that, it's a very reasonable thing to do. So we support the bill. Thank you, Assemblywoman Hunt. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you. I think he would definitely feel the power.
And he would deserve it.
Go ahead, Senator Brock.
Thank you, Chair Nguyen. So it looks like attempted murder, you know, because it definitely could have hurt him. I just wondered I know I'm focusing a lot on this incident because you shared it, but what was this convict's consequences at the end of the day for this attempted murder, it looks like? And then how is a sign, because as a building principal, and this kid was probably one that never had consequences all of his life, this guy, and then gets into society, and this is how they act, because this is what is happening in our schools. How is a sign going to change behavior? Convicts don't read signs. They don't listen to laws. They carry guns. They don't.
Ross Kinson, for the record, thank you for the question. Ultimately, I tend to agree with you. However, after meeting with all of the different groups and making sure that we were bringing forward the most important pieces of this legislation, having those barriers in place and having those panic buttons in place is something that is essential, and making sure that it's on all of our buses from here into the future. That is going to allow for more time for our drivers to react. As you saw in the video, the bus hadn't been secured and was still rolling when our driver was pulled out of the seat. And so the goal is to give our drivers just that little bit more time and allow them to hit that button so that our first responders can get there and take care of the situation before it gets escalated into something that's this violent.
In some cities, they put plastic
Mhm.
so that you can't even assault a driver. So that may be a suggestion. And I thought I had another question, but I'll ask if it comes back to me.
Thank you. It looks like part of the bill also allows or encourages barriers potentially like that in these buses. And I know that some of our RTCs currently have panic buttons. So this would just make sure that it is in all of these buses moving forward. Is that correct?
Linda Hunt for the record. Yes, that's correct, Chair. And just to let you know, Ross and I have received an email from RTC, and they have started already with the plastic barriers, for protection because this was so traumatic. So we're on a path to something great here, and I'm so grateful. So I just wanted to share that and give you that information. Okay?
No, thank you. And I think Senator Buck has remembered what her question was.
I did, sorry, it was on the bottom. So oftentimes, in schools, there's progressive discipline or whatever. So would this gentleman be banned from, because to me, it seems like it's a privilege to ride the buses, and it's a privileged opportunity. And it seemed to me that he would lose his privilege for the rest of his life or be banned. Is that a possibility, or you don't get into consequences at all? So he could assault the next driver because he didn't read the sign.
Sure. Ross Kinson for the record. So originally in the bill, that was something that we had explored. Ultimately, again, when we brought all of the different groups together and had longer conversations around that, that part of the bill was removed. And so right now, what this bill is focused on is first and foremost protecting those drivers.
So this guy can ride the bus again and assault the next driver if he says something that he doesn't like or doesn't take him where he wants, but that's unfortunate.
Ross Kinson for the record, just to reiterate, yes, that is correct under current NRS. That is correct.
Would note probably if that person was charged with likely a felony, they would probably potentially be incarcerated, and as a condition of any release, they could be prohibited from going on those, any of those buses.
Ross Kinson, again, yes, that's also correct. Ultimately, this individual has been arrested and will face consequences for his actions. So.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, we'll begin testimony in support of Assembly Bill 361. So if you're here to testify in support of Assembly Bill 361, I'd ask you to come to the table and begin testimony when you are ready.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Susie Martinez, representing the Nevada State AFL-CIO. Senator Hansen, I totally agree with you. I'm on your side. With that being said, we are in full support of the bill. And I would like to say thank you to Assemblywoman Hunt for bringing this very, very important legislation up to all of you. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon again, Honorable Chair and Committee. For the record, my name is Wendy Colborn, Chief of Staff for the Building and Construction Trades Council of Northern Nevada. Teamsters Local 533, the local union that represents our transit operators, is one of our affiliates, and we are also in strong support of this bill. It will help protect our transit workers from the growing threat, as you saw, of physical assault in the line of duty. Bus drivers show up every day to serve the public, ensuring that people get to work, school, and essential appointments, yet far too many of them face violence simply for doing their jobs. No one should have to fear for their safety while serving their community. AB 361 provides a straightforward solution, protective barriers that prevent direct contact between drivers and individuals who may become aggressive. These barriers are not just about worker safety. Protecting transit operators creates a more stable, secure environment for everyone on board. Passing this bill is about showing transit workers that we respect them and value their service. No public servant should ever have to experience what Thomas did. I strongly urge you to support AB 361. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Wesley Harper. I am the Director of Government Affairs for the City of North Las Vegas. We appreciate Assemblymember Hunt for bringing this bill forward. We are in full support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, committee members, my name is Alfonso Lopez. I represent the sheet metal and railroad transportation workers, and we are definitely here in full support of this important legislation to help protect any drivers within the state. But thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. If we can go to the phone lines for anyone to testify in support of Assembly Bill 361.
If you'd like to testify in support on AB 361, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Katrin Ivanov, Ivanov, Frank for the record. And I wanted to say that I'm glad that you guys are bringing that bill. I do hope that you add an amendment. I'm on the phone, so I couldn't even see what was shown, but obviously it was very dramatic because most of the people couldn't even talk about anything else but the incident. In any event, I would like an amendment added that the barrier that is added is a bulletproof barrier, because I would hate to be here a few years from now, spend all the money on plastic and some poofy barriers that would not stop crazy and drug out people. And we are here a few years from now voting on spending another amount of money to correct the Band-Aid solution. I would like to have a good solution that it would be good for many, many, many years, and we don't have to go back on this. The barrier should be bulletproof, in my opinion, but I really applaud the intent of the bill, and I'm very happy to support it. Just please add this amendment. Thank you, and have a lovely day.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Joseph Graham, JOSEPHGRAHAM. I'm a Chief Steward for Communication Workers of America, 9413. I strongly urge the committee to support this bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I am Edward Goodrich, Goodrich. I represent the IATSC 363 in Reno, Northern Nevada Stagehands, Convention, and Film Technicians. We are in full support of AB 361, especially in the interest of the public safety. Thank you for your time and have a good day.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Liz Sorensen. That's LIZSORENSON. I'm with the Nevada State AFL-CIO. I am in strong support of AB 361, and I urge this committee to do the same. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Dion Klug, DIONNEKLUG. I'm with the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, Local 711, and we strongly support this bill, and we hope you support it as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. For the record, my name is Gabe Christensen, CHRIS TENSON. I urge you to support SB 361. These transit workers do so much for us, and anything we can do to help keep them safe, we need to do. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Gary Watson, GaryWatson, and I am the Principal Officer of Teamsters Local 533 in Northern Nevada. I strongly urge the committee to support AB 361. Thank you.
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Thank you. I see someone at the table. I don't know if you're in Las Vegas. Are you there for support or opposition?
Yeah, just 5 seconds.
Okay, go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Yes. CYRUS HOJJATY. I am speaking in support. Transit safety is important. Ditto. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think that ends our support testimony. If we can move to opposition testimony, if there's anyone to testify in opposition. I don't see anyone here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. If we can go to the phone lines, is there anyone to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 361?
Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
While we're on the phone lines, I will go to testimony in neutral. Is there anyone on the phone lines to testify in neutral?
Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
And we will go to the room. Is there anyone to testify in neutral here at the room? If you are here in neutral, please come up to the table and begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Maria Nieto Orta, Maria, last name Nieto, space ORTA for the record, speaking on behalf of the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada. The RTC of Southern Nevada has already implemented the safety measures aligned in this bill, including driver enclosures, panic buttons, and live look-in cameras throughout our entire fleet. We appreciate Assemblywoman Hunt for her collaboration and the Teamsters to clarify this bill's applicability and her commitment and their commitment to transit safety. With these protections already in place, we testify in neutral of this bill and remain committed to ensuring the safety and security of our drivers and passengers. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other testimony here in neutral, and I will end testimony in neutral. Would you like to make any closing statements?
Thank you, Chair Nguyen and committee. I just want to thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Again, Linda Hunt for the record. I'm sorry. Okay, I urge your support of AB 361 to prioritize the safety of Nevada's transit workers. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you for your first bill presentation. Hopefully it was a memorable one. It was a great one, so. And that we will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 361, and we'll open up the last hearing on Assembly Bill 46. And so I will call our presenters to the table. I think it. I thought it was Gary. He's going to respond to the email. Yeah, that's okay. I know, I asked because I was gone. He's like, yeah, we're done. I was like, awesome. Sorry, go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. For the record, Don Lomoljo, DON LOMOLJO, Staff Counsel with the Public Utilities Commission of Nevada. I'm here today to present AB 46, which is a bill that preserves the privileged status of any privileged information that is shared within the context of Public Utilities Commission regulatory proceedings. As an example, if a privilege material such as a trade secret privilege, attorney-client privilege, or accountant-client privilege applies to information relevant to a utilities application pending before the commission, such as an application to raise rates or obtain approval of a plan to invest in infrastructure, this bill clarifies that the utility can share that information confidentially with the commission and interveners in that case without waiving that privilege. We've seen the situation arise when utilities have wanted to use privileged information as evidence supporting their applications. The clarification in this bill provides that any information that is privileged, that is shared, maintains that privilege, and that concern of a utility about sharing information and potentially losing that privilege should go away with this bill. Specific examples of when this statutory clarification may be helpful in future cases would include situations where utilities are seeking to recover attorney's fees through rates charged to customers. It may be necessary to review legal invoices or other materials to confirm whether the amounts paid were appropriate and whether the work was actually performed for the utility. Other examples could involve internal audits that are useful in determining whether a utility acted prudently when it incurred certain costs or in evaluating the prudence of a particular utility plan or practice. With that, I'm available for any questions.
Do we have any questions? I know that this has gone through a journey, so I appreciate all the work that has gone into it that ultimately led to the bill that we have before us today. And I don't see any questions, so we will just begin with testimony in support of AB 46. If there's anyone here to testify in support of AB 46, I'd ask you to come to the table, either here or in Las Vegas.
There we go. Good afternoon, Chair Wynn and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Nadine Kenifer, that is spelled N-A-D-I-N-E-K-I-E-N-H-O-E-F-E-R, and I'm with Ferrari Reader Public Affairs representing Western Resource Advocates. WRA routinely intervenes in public utility rate-making cases and integrates resource planning procedures at the PUCN and ensures Nevada's best interests are represented. The bill would ensure that all relevant evidence is reviewed and effectively considered in PUCN proceedings, while also ensuring clear protection and continuity of privilege for the utility, in strong alignment with WRA's prioritization of common sense policy. We'd like to thank the PUCN for bringing forth this important legislation, and we urge the committee to support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other testimony in support here in Carson City, I don't see anyone at the table in Las Vegas. We will move to the phone lines for testimony in support of Assembly Bill 46.
To testify in support on AB 46, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon, Chair Wynn and members of the committee. My name is Sheila Hallstrom, and I'm here on behalf of Advanced Energy United, a business trade association representing advanced energy technologies and services spanning both utility scale and the distribution level. United advocates both in the legislative and regulatory venues. As a regulatory principal, I have intervened in several proceedings at the Public Utilities Commission of Nevada, including the Triennial Integrated Resource Plan proceedings. AB 46 is a practical and necessary policy that would facilitate more productive and transparent proceedings for stakeholders and interveners, while also maintaining key confidentiality measures. We thank the PUCN for their work on this bill effort this session and respectfully urge the committee to support AB 46.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. If you're still on the phone, is there any way you could state your name again and spell it for the record? Oh, I think I was too slow.
Yeah, sorry. It's Sheila Hallstrom, S-H-E-I-L-A, space H-A-L-L-S-T-R-O-M. And I'm with Advanced Energy United.
Thank you so much.
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Okay, next we will move to testimony in opposition of AB 46. I don't see anyone here in Carson City coming to the table, no one in Las Vegas. If we could go to the phone lines for any opposition testimony to AB 46.
testify in opposition on AB 46, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue. There are no callers in opposition at this time.
And then we will go to neutral testimony. If there's anyone to testify in neutral, and I will go to the phone lines first since you're there and people are walking up. If we could, is there anyone on the phone lines to testify in neutral?
Testify in neutral, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Katrin Ivanov from the record ID ANO Frank. I testify neutral only because by the presentation, I didn't understand anything about what this bill is about. And maybe that's not the first time that bill is presented. However, we don't have the chance to always listen to the sessions. So I do expect when I'm listening to a presentation to kind of find out what the bill is about. So because of that, I just wanted to give a tip. Maybe next time they could be a little bit more, they tell us what the bill is about. So we can, if we had the time to listen to the presentation, at least we can express opinions. But yeah, I couldn't say yes or no because I have no idea what the bill is about. Thank you and have a lovely day. So I'm going to count on you guys. Have a lovely day.
Do we have any callers in neutral?
Chair, there are no more callers at this time.
And I will move to testimony in neutral in person, and I'll begin here in Carson City. Go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon. My name is Dylan Keith, DYLAN KEITH. I am the Senior Manager of Government Affairs with Southwest Gas. We had some initial concerns with this bill, requiring or compelling utilities to provide attorney-client privileged information. However, the PUCN's clarification on the record that this bill does not and would not require us to provide privileged information and simply clarifies that if we do decide to provide that information, the privilege is not waived. We are neutral on this bill. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair, members of the committee. Anthony Ruiz, representing NB Energy. Just want to echo the comments made by Southwest Gas. In the other house, the PUC put on the record that this does not create the ability for the commission to compel the utility to disclose this information. And so that is our understanding of the bill, and that's why we're neutral today. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anyone to testify in Las Vegas, so do you have any closing statements? No, we're waving them off. So at this time, I will close the hearing on AB 46. And that brings us to our last agenda item, which is public comment. If you were here to testify in public comment, I'd ask you to come up to the table and go ahead and begin when you're ready in Las Vegas.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry to keep you up to date, but I just wanted to share some information. I'd like to talk about comedian Bill Maher. And, you hear him on the news. He has been meeting up with the president. He's going to get a lot of heat from all sides. But he brings a lot of interesting points about what happened in the last year's presidential election. He has grilled all sides, including our president, and I'm glad he does that. He has been pretty critical of the woke cultural agenda, the COVID measures, and the problems with the border that we experienced the last several years. And I agree, these are serious, serious concerns. However, the most important issue is the Electoral College. And he believes that 2024 will likely happen in the future presidential elections, simply because his home state, actually my state, California, will continue to lose seats. And this is along with many other blue states, which will allow red states to gain more seats. And how could this happen? This is largely because of high gas prices, high cost of living. California is the toughest state to get permits, zoning, has a lot of lawsuits, NIMBYs when it comes to building housing. I'm just wondering, is California the model that we want to be in? In fact, Bill Maher himself has a lot of difficulties putting solar panel in his roof. He has told us to Governor Gavin Newsom and even Adam Schiff. And actually here, this is a picture of me and Adam Schiff. We randomly bumped into each other in Jackson Hole. So think about it. We have some serious concerns, and if you don't want a repeat of 2024, I suggest you listen to Bill Maher. And I think he's going to be coming soon to the MGM Grand. Have a word with him. I'd like him to probably run for public office, or heck, the other comedian, George Carlin. Because I think there's a lot of food for thought. But anyway, we thank you so much for allowing us to speak, and hopefully we will continue again. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anyone else to testify in public comment, so if we can go to the phone lines to see if there's anyone to testify in public comment.
If you'd like to participate in public comment, please press star 9 on your phone to take your place in the queue. Chair, the public line is open and working. However, there are no callers at this time.
Thank you. And with that, we will close public comment. And I will note that we will have our very first Friday meeting. It will be at the call of the chair this Friday. So we will be preparing that agenda, and it will be posted shortly. But I will see you all on Friday. And with that, meeting adjourned.